So this is going to show a command that will now push our scripts, our env files up to the servers. So the concept is that a local env file would be have all the settings needed. So you would have, for example, app env for your local, but you would also establish the settings for the other environments. And so that's a very typical one, but then you also have database. So the dev should have this password, stage should have this password, but locally I have this password. And all of these are really easily set inside of the config file. In this case, I'm going to test against my Vagrant box. And so I'm going to say when I push to dev as user forge, which is actually wrong because I'm going to now change this to be the typical Vagrant box for Homestead. And so I'm going to say when you push to dev, you're really going here as this user to this folder. Now this folder obviously would be the website root, and therefore then the .env file would be replaced, but you wouldn't put the name there. And then the port, just because again I want to hit Vagrant and not the typical 22. So now if we were to run this command here, it's going to push into my Vagrant box into this temp folder. Now the temp folder right now doesn't have an env. And so now at this point it copied it over. And so if we were to look here and do this again, now everything's there. Everything being exactly what we wanted there. So when we go back to our original file, we would say app env should equal dev, and dev is true. That's what it should equal. If we were to look at the driver, yeah, it's easy. That one wasn't reset. But here's password. It should be db password dev, db password host. Now these became double syntaxed. That is a bug, so that will be fixed momentarily. But if we keep going down, we have db host, dev, db name, and we get db name, and db user, and then db username would be, let's see, username dev. So you start to see that they're all replaced accordingly, minus that double single quote issue, but that'll be fixed. But it's really that easy. Eventually there'll be a get as well. So the command we wrote was push, but now what if we want to get and merge, into our local? We could easily start doing that well, so you can really quickly build up your local to be what it needs to be to eventually keep pushing out. And hopefully this will become a way to more easily share with other developers and deploy your work, your env variables. Some other examples might be, make example. So our examples are really easily always up to date. And another one could be share, where by doing that you could share at a particular server that we already have set up to then say go get my latest copy, so the new developer can take over and get all the env files without us pasting them all around the place.